Allemagne pour voir comment l'Allemagne a potentiellement fait le choix, enfin on verra ça. Nous, je ne sais pas encore, en fait, on y reviendra cet après-midi, mais effectivement, il faut adhérer à SNOMED pour pouvoir l'utiliser. Et donc pour en parler de la situation en Allemagne, j'invite tout de suite sur le plateau, en duplex, en direct d'Allemagne, Kai Hetman. Hello, Kai. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, and I'm very sorry that I can't be in Paris in person, but next time I promise I will be there.
Yeah, hope. So you manage the hub in the Ministry of Health. Could you explain what exactly it is?
Yes, I'm not the manager. I'm one of 14 experts who are advising the Ministry of Health in digitization, e-health, and my focus is since all time in my life interoperability between people and computers. So that is the Health Innovation Hub.
So there is a lot of question on the adhesion of a country on SNOMED. I think that Germany is coming to do that, to do this step. So could you explain and give us some highlights on the implementation of SNOMED in Germany and your adhesion?
Yes, so I will try to
share your
my
screen.
screen. Not sure whether it works.
It works, it works. We see your slide from the stage, but not already on the screen.
Now? Or shall I change? Is that the presenter mode or the presentation mode?
Yeah, it's a presentation mode. It works.
Ah, that's fine. Okay.
Let's go.
Yes. Also, I'm sorry that I'm not able to speak in French. I had French at school, but mais j'ai tout oublié. So I have to speak in English, but I think that's okay. So there is a very long story about SNOMED CT and adoption in Germany, and I want to give you a little bit of an idea how long that took and what would be the takeaways of that. So first, I would like to identify SNOMED CT challenges and advantages, especially here in Germany and our experiences in that area. That was a long way in Germany to go, and I want to inform you who plays, and who will play with SNOMED in the future from different perspectives. I would like to emphasize also that's something that we heard during the introduction phase here in Germany, that it is very wise to go stepwise. And talking about wise things, the last slide will be about the conclusion, kind of wisdom to go. Let's talk a little bit first about SNOMED CT challenges and advantages that we identified. You all know SNOMED CT in a nutshell. It's a terminology system for medicine, international, with about 80 countries using it, 39 members, we just heard that from Don. Multilingual, comprehensive, we have a lot of medical terms and relationships and synonyms, so you all know these numbers. And if you are an informatician or a terminologist, you might find these things really impressive. But if you ask doctors, at least German doctors, they say, well, is this really impressive? It's more that it worries me that you have so many terms and I have to learn how to code and so on. So one of the demanding things is that they tell us, tell me in a simplified way, what is my advantage when I use SNOMED CT or when I be able to use it in my computer systems? So one takeaway for SNOMED CT is that SNOMED CT is for orderly people. So I recently had a webinar and a tutorial as an introduction to SNOMED CT in a kind of different way. And I showed that you can arrange fruits, for example, not to talk about diseases always, You can arrange fruits, and that you can summarize that as fresh fruit and kind of hierarchy, which is food. And with that, you can also get certain fruits to be citrus fruits. And of course, there are other things like nuts. And there's also a relationship between nuts and bananas because they all both are food allergens. And in this case, you see the whole network. It's not only a hierarchy, and SNOMED CT helps to get everything in order. So the takeaway is that SNOMED CT is not a simple list of things. It's a network of concepts with descriptions and relationships, and good tools show even the multiple hierarchy, and relationships, the network that SNOMED CT represents. The other thing that I want to emphasize, and also emphasized, is that SNOMED CT is defining things by their relationships in the network. So here's an example. If you have a shoe and you have another term like a string, so the question is that these two things define another term that is not really described, but it's defined by its position, and that is laces. So this is another advantage of SNOMED CT because it's not only a list, as I said, it's a whole network. The other thing that I mentioned is that classifying things in healthcare is one of the outcomes when it comes to reimbursement, for example. But there is another, and this is more or less classified. The other outcome is that clinical documentation actually is much more fine-grained. We all know that. And I love this colorful example from my colleague Ronald Cornet from the Netherlands, where you see the whole picture, like a few colors and more colors, and the real life for clinical documentation. So SNOMED CT helps to capture the real life, the real clinical documentation. And one of the other thing is that I like to mention is that if you define and document and capture data fine-grained, you still are able to make it more less fine-grained. So that, for example, is something where I always say, if you document in SNOMED CT, you can, for example, derive ICD-10 codes as a proposal for the reimbursement. And another thing that I mentioned is that new analytics are possible. You all know this picture, obviously, from also from SNOMED CT. If you do intelligent data capture using SNOMED CT, you can answer all the right questions on the right side. And that would be much more difficult if you have not so fine-grained terminologies. Again, the colorful picture in deriving less fine-grained codes, and also to mention that other code systems are not replaced by SNOMED CT. I love the term ecosystem that Don also used. So that is the important thing to understand. I mentioned that it was a long way in Germany to come to SNOMED CT, and there were a lot of players around to make that come true. And this is the history of SNOMED. I don't want to go into details here because you always probably know that. It started at 65 with SNOP and ended with SNOMED International. And as we just heard from Don, it continues and continues. So in Germany, and one important point is in 2007, SNOMED International started actually. The Netherlands were one of the starting members, and I had the pleasure to be a consultant in the Netherlands for many years and to learn SNOMED since 2007. So I'm very pleased with that. And in Germany, we heard from Don that a pilot phase of SNOMED CT usage started in 2020. That was a milestone here, talking about that a little bit more in a minute. And in 2021, we will be a full member of SNOMED International. That's because we had a Patient Data Protection Act, whatever the name is. So we got a law in Germany that actually installed everything that is necessary to be a full member of SNOMED International. But looking back in Germany, there were some other endeavors started in already in 2004. SNOMED CT international application by the former the founder of HL7 Germany, Joachim Dudek, who unfortunately passed away too early. He introduced actually SNOMED CT and the thoughts around that at the start of the 2000 years. And in 2002, I found even a SNOMED CT in a German doctoral thesis. So it is a long, long way that SNOMED was on the way to come to Germany. And meanwhile, you know, many other countries already adopted SNOMED CT, maybe as a member. So we are really late. A little bit of details. Since 2002, I just talked about that. HL7 Germany, an international affiliate of HL7 International, introduced SNOMED CT by training and education, by accompanying project studies and publication and papers on SNOMED CT application. It was a member, or members of HL7 Germany were a member of the Assess CT study in Europe to show what it helps to have SNOMED and what it does not help if you have SNOMED. There was a lot of communication with SNOMED International, especially in the last years. And HL7 Germany also set up the German-speaking translation group that helps to translate SNOMED CT into the German language. So that is one of the activities that has been started a long time ago. The Medical Informatics Initiative was is a funded initiative of the Federal Minister of Education and Research. And they started to introduce SNOMED CT in 2017. They started the efforts to introduce that in the research area. So it's only if the large university hospital in Germany, you might see the colorful points in Germany. So it's not covering all of Germany. They use SNOMED CT to model use cases. They have a license management for the Medical Informatics Initiative, are kind of contact persons and are teaching SNOMED CT in their groups. They have expert communication on SNOMED CT use in Germany. And so that is a kind of start on-ramp introduction of SNOMED CT in Germany. And I'm really delighted being on a position next to the Ministry of Health that there was this act in 2020, at the start of 2020, that says that the Federal Institute for Drugs and Medical Devices will become the national release center for Germany, and Germany is becoming a full member of SNOMED CT. So with that, a lot of other activities will start as usual, and this will cover, of course, all of Germany, the whole German country. Last thing I would like to mention is that stepwise is wise. Once this act was published and in fact active, vendors approached us and said, well, this is just a new terminology, it's so complicated. And the response to that is something that SNOMED International already prepared, and that in the Netherlands is also in preparation to be published. That is the implementation and maturity matrix that focuses on data capture, sending data and receiving data using SNOMED CT. And depending on that level, you simply start with planning to use SNOMED CT, simply have mappings to SNOMED, using simple codes, getting better and better using the hierarchy that I showed in SNOMED CT, using the whole semantic network, and even advanced applications. So I think with that, also vendors are helped to orient themselves in the jungle of SNOMED CT and the introduction of that terminology. And the last slide, a bit of wisdom to go. So I think from what I learned from different European countries where I had the honor to be a consultant in my consultant life, and also in my governmental or near governmental work that I had over the last 1.5 years, engagement of government is inevitable. You have to engage a government, and even to make laws or to try to make laws that install SNOMED CT, to give that a good start. You should foster evidence with national projects. In my experience, it doesn't really help that other countries have success stories with SNOMED CT without showing that this also works for your own nation. I don't know why that is the case, but that's my experience. Also emphasize individual benefits of different stakeholders. So a doctor must understand what his duties are and what his duties are not really there, and what his benefits are, and so have researchers and so on. The National Release Center should be preferable also a National Terminology Center. I really love to work in Holland, in the Netherlands, where they have a National Terminology Center that answers terminology questions around the whole ecosystem of terminologies in the country, not only about SNOMED CT. And the last thing that I want to mention is be smart, be wise, and let people stepwise participate in your wisdom. Thank you very much. That was a little bit of an insight of SNOMED CT adoption in Germany, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thanks a lot, Kay. It's very interesting. It's a long way to be part of the SNOMED. So maybe you explain you explain the way you do, but if you look back and maybe help us to be a part of the SNOMED 2, what do you learn and what mistake you do that maybe we don't have to do again to be a member and to be part of the SNOMED 2?
I think if you dedicate more time to introduce SNOMED and to talk to the right people, I think that is a key point in introducing SNOMED CT. I always say that interoperability is a social thing. So if you socialize SNOMED CT, among other things, of course, and talk with other people and show the benefits they might have, the different stakeholders, you probably can speed up the adoption of SNOMED CT in a country. But as I said, it takes a time, and especially in Germany, I think larger projects take a longer time. We spent, I think, 15 years in introducing the electronic patient record, and that will be true during the next years, that we will introduce that. So everything takes a longer time in Germany, and that's for different reasons. But I think socializing is the key function here.
Yeah. François, you can go. Yeah, yes.
Thank you, Kai. It was really good to see you again, although not in Paris, since all jazz clubs were shut down, so you didn't have to come. You said that the National Release Center should be a terminology center, which makes full sense, also with what we heard from Don, that there is a full ecosystem that has to be managed. And so, you told us that your National Release Center will be the agency in charge with products and devices. So will it be also a terminology center? And will it distribute not only SNOMED CT, but other terminologies in Germany?
Yeah, this is the good story about how things can go. The new National Release Center is already the National Terminology Center because it publishes the German version of ICD-10 since years and decades and is responsible for many other terminologies. So although at this point in time, a small group, they are and has been involved into terminologies in Germany and adoption of international terminology since many, many years. So there is the experience there, and they understood immediately that SNOMED CT is, of course, a challenge, but it's also a good part and a good addition to what they already did regarding SNOMED, regarding ICD-10 as an example. So with that, also LOINC comes into play here. From next year, they will publish LOINC for everybody here and introducing LOINC much better than we could do or have done in the past year. So this is a very good coincidence, and the lawmakers really realized that this is the right place to be for SNOMED, where other terminologies also live. And maybe they learned that also from the Netherlands, where this is the case too.
In person, you're not far away from us. So we can continue. Je bascule tout de suite en français. N'oublions pas que...